All right, guys. So anyway, we're gonna just be going over today just some basics of the group. Mostly what we were talking about before. This isn't gonna be like too much of like a lesson or charting session at all. So basically, we're just gonna go over, who we are, what do we do, how we trade, basic um, analysis of how to read the charts, mostly how to pair them with the scanner. Hopefully, you guys watched the scanner video. I'm sure most of you have already, obviously. And then we'll do like a small little Q&A also. But anyway, all right, so we'll go right into it. Basically, obviously, we're a group of traders. Most of the admin and I have been trading for months to years now with options, and we're primarily an options group, obviously. Obviously, we have crypto that's been building up back with Alec a little bit. Vinny's been signaling in there also. David S, I think a little bit too, but um, primarily mostly a stock and option group, so that's what our primary focus is. Most of us pretty much look for mostly scalps. We don't like to hold too many things overnight, especially in this market right now with everything with Trump and the China trade war going on. But there are some stocks that sometimes we'll do swing trades for, as you guys see under the swing signals. So swing signals, you're always going to be looking at usually holding, for the most part, overnight or a few days. But if they do take off, so I mean, sometimes we'll post a swing signal and we'll have a stop loss on it. Obviously, if it stops out on that same day, we're going to close the trade in the same day. So just because it says that it's a swing doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to close it that day. I mean, there's been times where, I mean, for instance, Don Hole posted an Amazon swing for December 20th, right, at 2.1. If it's getting towards the end of the day, I think this was on Friday, right? So if it's up 20%, you probably want to trim some, raise your stop. He trimmed it again at 40%. So if you make 20, 40% right away, and it's still, a week or two out, it's always a good time to take profits. So even though it says swing signal, always try to have day trades available. If you guys are on Robinhood already, you probably know you should be on Tastyworks by now because you get the unlimited day trades. Again, how those work is if you start the day, now you might not get flagged for it. Sometimes you don't get flagged for having gone over this limit that I'm about to go over right now. But if you get 4 red flags um, well, let me go over the example first. So basically, let's say you start the day with $500 in buying power on Tastyworks. So if you start the day with 500 in buying power, and let's say there's 5 signals that are $100. Okay, so you used all your buying power. You're in every signal. Now let's say you close all of those for $20. So if you close all those for $20 profit, then you're up $100, right? Overall, so you have 600 in your account. So most people would think, okay, now I have 600, I have unlimited day trades, I can keep trading. Unfortunately, it's not the case. So because you started the day with $500 in buying power, you already used that buying power. So when you sell it back, you have to wait for that to settle in your account. Now, Tastyworks settles within 1 day. So if you want to withdraw the money, it's usually 2 to 3 days, but it'll settle in your account for you to use by the next day. So what does that mean? So that means that we have to wait until tomorrow, the next day, to open up any trades because we already used the 500 we started with, but now the next day we have 600. Now another scenario could be, let's say that we had one that we held overnight, right? So that means that we have 580 in our account because we closed, we have 480 in our account because we closed 4 of them for $20 profit each. And we have one that's still in for 100, right? So our total in our account is 580, but we have 480 that we kept to ourselves. So what does that mean? So we're swinging one overnight. Now that means in the morning, our buying power is going to be $480. But if you sell it, because you held overnight and it wasn't opened, you are allowed to use that buying power. At least I haven't had a problem with that yet. So that is something that I've seen that you can get around to. So for instance, in the morning, let's say we sell it for 100, 120 also, right? So that means we're at 600. So then that 600 you're able to use. So that's the 480 that you sold from the day before, which is the 400 you entered with and the 80 profit, so 480. and then the 120, which is the 100, which is the contract you held overnight, and then let's say we sold it in the morning for 120, so you have 600. So I've never had a problem with that myself. I'm not sure if anybody else has. If you have, let me know. Maybe Tim knows. Maybe Tim, if you want to post that somewhere, because I know you haven't gotten flagged for some things. But that should be pretty much how you guys want to always trade. You never want to use more than you start the day with. So just always write down in the beginning of the day what buying power you have. Try to see what open positions you have. There's really no need for you to go over your total buying power. You always want to have some available anyway. So, if you have $1,000 in your account, I don't recommend you being in more positions than, 60, 70% of your account. You always want to have some cash left over. You never know if there's something that we tell you is very optimal to get in, or if you just see something, that's a good trade to take. Plus, you never just want to be all in your whole entire account in the market. It's just not a good idea. So anyway, that's just a quick description of the Tastyworks rule that a lot of you guys were asking about with the day trades. But anyway, how do we trade exactly? You guys already know the signals. Like I just went over, the swing signals obviously held for usually longer than a day, sometimes weeks, depending on the expiration. Usually if it's a next week expiration, the only reason we do next week is because we don't want to get time decayed. So that means we don't want the position to decay on us just for holding it that one day. So maybe it's not the best entry, maybe it's not going to move right away. So what we do is we do the next week's expiration, because if we did the same week expiration and it didn't move throughout that day, we'd lose a lot more money than we would if we pushed it out to next week. So we were fighting against time decay when we're selecting options overall. Chat. All right, thanks. Yeah, you guys can ask questions in the chat too. Disable video. Brother, buying power, fun, subtle thing, tasty, never applied to me. I always take profit and still go all in. Yeah, you guys can open the chat too. So yeah, one day you're gonna get banned. Like, you're just gonna get banned from Tastyworks. So you're not gonna get banned. They're just gonna block your account, and you can make a new account. But yeah, there are days that they won't even notice that, and it could just skip past you. So I would just stick to the rule, because it's annoying to have to withdraw your funds and then put in a new account. But that's up to you guys. But anyway, so most of the calls we do, like we said, are usually weeklies. Those are all pretty much found in trade ideas. You'll see us do those pretty much, I guess, I don't know, maybe about 8 to 10 a day for the most part, as long as it's a normal day in the market. If it's a little choppy, you might see less, maybe like 3 or 4 or something like that. But you guys already mostly know how these work. If you don't, obviously watch the video in the Start Here channel to go over, oops, Start Here channel to go over that, and the training channel, of course, too. So anyway, let's see what else we're going to go over. How to read the charts and the scanner. All right, so Dario's in here too. I'm going to toss it over to him right now. He's going to go over a little bit. He has a perfect example of how the scanner works too, and then I'll go into it a little bit with you guys also. So let me throw this over to him. And Dario, you there? Brother? Did you disappear on me? You're muted. All right, we lost Dario. There he is. All right, there he is. You can take host whenever. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Oh, and keep in mind, Dario's 2 hours ahead also, so I think that's why it doesn't line up. Yeah, so right now he's showing, just so you guys know, the live. If you literally logged in at 9:31, the alert went off there, and then he's going to show you what happened 9:32. Each one of these candles is another minute, so you can see. Yeah, probably. I mean, on a weekly, on a same day expiration, right? It was Friday, guys, so it's Friday's expiration. If something moves like, 0.75% or 1%, you're probably already up like 30, 40%, to be honest. But let's continue. Yeah, and again, he'll show you exactly what could happen. Let's say you missed it, right? Yeah, and then perfect. And then like right here, for instance, when it fills that, then you could raise your stop loss to profits right around. What is that for you? What is your orange VWAP? 200. Oh, the red one. Yeah, there's your step line. Yeah, so then you could, you see where it breaks down. I mean, obviously I mean, not exactly, but right under the 200 was pretty much the support there, and once it broke down from there, continued. Yeah. So then, keep in mind kind of where your profits were at right before that, and then, I mean, I'm sure they were at probably around 30% or so. And then what you would do from there is kind of just raise your stop to that point. If it's the same week, though, keep in mind, that you're going to get decayed. So, excuse me, same day, you're going to get decayed. So you could always lock them in sooner than later. But yeah, this is just a perfect example of kind of how to use the scanner and then raising your stops. Yeah. Yeah, so you want to do in the money for, stocks that are definitely under, 150 or so or around that price. Um, just because a dollar move for them is, right around a percent or so, 0.75% is fine for a scalp. That's what we're looking for. Obviously, if you're playing something else, like if you're playing a stock like Netflix, or even higher, if you're doing, yeah, those are going to be expensive, of course, but that what comes with a stock being expensive is that obviously for Netflix, 300 around $300, right? If it's going to be moving, a half a percent is $1.50, or 1% is around $3. It obviously depends on what exactly the stock is at for the percent to dollar basis, but the strikes for a stock like Netflix, they come in options of 250. So for instance, $300, and then the next strike would be 302.50, next strike 305. So if you're playing something like that, and let's say that we want to short Netflix around 301, let's say. So what you could do is this: you could either do a 302.50 put, right, because we're shorting, or that'll be the safer one, obviously, because you're already in the money, and you're not going to be, especially if it's expiring on the same week. But if you did a $300 put, that would be fine as long as you had time left in the day, because the chances of that moving below your strike under 300, you're still going to be able to profit. So we're going to do a video kind of going over the Greeks, which kind of give you an example of how exactly options work with theta, gamma, delta, etc. They'll be able to help you out with kind of picking options on your own, but for the most part, you just want to be able to base how much time you have left to your expiration with how much you think the stock's going to move by then. Put those together with the Greeks, which we're going to go over in the next video, and then you're able to pick your option strike price pretty much. So, but as long as you're usually in the money or right outside the money or at the money, we call it, an at the money put or an at the money call is pretty much one that's literally right above or below the price. So the first out the money or the first in the money put or call. So again, you could use, for instance, if you're shorting Netflix at 301, you probably could use a $300 put, which would in that case be out the money, or you could do a 302.50 put, which would of course in that case be in the money. So either of those would work as long as it's going to be a scalp. Yep. Yeah, so as long as you're position sizing and picking the right positions right, if you're risking 75 or $100, something like that, you can profit the most, I'd say, on Thursdays and Fridays if you're doing weeklies, of course, just because of the potential of them moving. So, but this is a good example right here too, right? So 307 level, right? You could do a 307.50 put, but this would be on a Friday, right? But let's say that it was like a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday even. Those are probably going to be twice, maybe three times more expensive than they are on Friday. But since you have 2-3 days left until expiration, I mean, let's just look at if you want to, yeah, I mean, this is a perfect example. So from the 5th, right, on the bottom of the 5th to the 9th, the price moved from 300 to 308. So that's roughly almost 308. Another dollar would have been 309. So that's roughly 3%, a little bit less. So the price action of Netflix moving 1% in a day is very possible. So what can happen is you're able to pick a lower strike. So instead of a 307.50 put, you could do a 305 put, and it'll probably cost you, around 250, definitely at least $250 or so if it's going to be right at the money or in the money. It'll be right around $250 to $300 cheaper for Netflix, and that's going to be on a like a Monday or Tuesday. And that's because number one, you're adding, you're subtracting $250, right? 250 from Netflix, $2.50 off the price times 100 from the strike price. Plus, it's going to be further out of the money, so your chance of probability will go down, so the option will be priced accordingly. And again, we'll go over that a little bit later, but that's just goes to show you guys an example of how to use the scanner and picking strike prices a little bit more. If you're confused on this, just wait for the scanner to go off with an alert like the Badoo one, because that's pretty easy. A 118 put, I think pretty much everybody in the group could do, especially on like a Thursday or Friday. They should be definitely under $100 or right around there. Someone just asked in the chat to go over this one's. I'm just looking at the chart. It's super easy to show you. Yeah, that one's super easy. Just pull up Amazon. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, is a perfect, pretty much hammer on there. Well, and this is that probably was alerted. Was that alerted by Timmy and the scanner? If you had it set up, it would have been. Let me see. Yeah, I think it was right before. Yeah, it looks like it was right before. Well, yeah, it's in swing. It's in swing signals. It's there at 11:30. Yeah, so it'll be your 1:30. Should be. Yep, right there. And at 155, sorry, right there. Amazon 1850. Yeah, so at 150. So basically, go to your 2 o'clock, and you can see on the 5 minute, it was, I mean, pretty easily. Right, New York. Oh, all right, whatever. The five. Yeah, pretty clear as day. So basically, he was playing the support right there. Yep, there you go. I'll let Dario go ahead. Yep. And Tim will basically have most of these. I mean, I don't know if that. Let me see. Did you put in the chat here, Tim? No. I don't know why that one didn't go off. Maybe a little bit. Oh no, it did. Yeah, 11:55. Year two. Yeah. So that actually literally went off right there. So go to the scanner real quick and show them. Literally at right around the same time. Yeah. Should be right before it. Yeah, right there. 155. There you go. So we have a scanner, guys, right? The scanner, now we have it. Tim does all of our coding, so you guys can always thank him. Send him all your love. But basically, he set up a code for us where most of the stocks that we play pretty much every day, we'll be able to see if there's a hammer or inverse hammer made on the low or high of the session. So do you have so the session break here would obviously be right where it says the 6th. So as we go towards the right, this is the chart for the day. So the session low. So this is going to be the session low, right where Dario has the arrow right there, and he circled it on the second circle right there. So this is the session low. So the low of the day, there was a hammer made, which is the candle right with the wick, right below, excuse me, right above the arrow. So that candle right there is a very bullish candle. It usually indicates a reversal. So not only is that candle shown there, but it's also at a support level, which he just showed you as well to the left. So that's why Gavin signaled that. He probably, I don't know if he might have read it off the scanner and then entered it, or entered it and then the scanner went off. But at the end of the day, they both literally alerted it at the same time. So that was a good trade to take. And when you take these trades, you usually want to long them right there, pretty much at the close. And then your stop loss is usually going to be, as long as it's not a terrible wick down, your stop loss is usually going to be right below the wick, or a little bit below. So that was a perfect trade. And as you can see, under swing signals, that's the one I showed you guys in the beginning too. Trimmed it pretty much 30 minutes later for 20% profit, and then 20 more minutes later for 40%. So that was a good trade. And I think he said, yeah, and he said swing the rest too. So if you had three, you trimmed it twice already for 20%, 40%, and you're already, at that point, you're just printing. So you have no worries holding it from there. But that was a 2 week out contract also. So yeah, that one was that's a good example, definitely, to show you guys how to use the scanner, even if we don't have an alert by us. If you see an alert by Robo Tim that that has a hammer alert on it, that means to check the chart, and then you could base it for yourself whether to get in or not. You could always wait for us too. If you look at that scanner alert too, there was a whole thread on it, so everyone was talking anyway. But yeah, this is a perfect example of another thing that the scanner shows, and that it's a good trade to take. Yep, there we go. Already sent, and yeah, there it is. But um, but yeah. Do you guys have any questions on that at all, or anything on the scanner? I think it's pretty easy to read for the most part. A lot of it you might not understand right away, but if you have read the Bible, definitely read it again. If you haven't read the Bible, you probably most definitely need to read it. Try to read it tonight, or start to read it this week. But it'll help you interpret what the scanner's saying. Usually we will comment on the scanner too if we do something, or you'll see a signal posted just because the scanner alert went off. Under trade ideas, you'll see a signal or swing signals too. Tim also set up crypto for it. I think the last few of them will be in scanner, but from now on the crypto ones will go to the crypto chat. But that's it. But yeah, let us know if you guys had any questions too. Didn't know the Bible had stonks in it. Yeah, believe it or not, it does. But yeah, but this is pretty much just an intro showing you guys how to use the scanner kind of live. I know I did the video also on it, so hopefully that helps. But we wanted to answer some questions while we were here too. Does anybody have any for us at all? We're going to be posting all the charts tonight too. I'm going to do some charts like we did last Sunday. So I'll post all those under watch list for you guys. Anything else really, Dario, too, you wanted to go over? Can you help out with understanding VWAP? Yeah, so VWAP is going to be the volume weighted average profile, right? Which is the red step line on Dario's chart here. So price will usually almost always revert back to VWAP. It's used hand in hand with the MAs that we do, the moving averages, right? If you see a good close above VWAP or a retrace to VWAP, it's always a good time to look at the chart, because you're usually around VWAP, you're going to either have a period of consolidation and then a move dramatically either up or down. So a good example is right here, literally at the start of the day, right? Right where this starts to break down. Right as soon as the candle broke VWAP and it broke down, it just went into a downtrend from there. So yeah, right there. So you had a solid close, and then the next candle right there, which you can see right at the bottom of that circle he drew, closed right below the opening range of the day. So then what happened is we had another little bounce. What's your greens? What'd you say, the 200? The 9, okay. Yeah, so you're gonna see usually your 9 and your 13 are, if you use a 9 or a 13 or a 20 EMA, most of us use the 9 and the 13 um, to show rejections, especially after a hard break. So once you see a hard break VWAP or the 200, you're usually going to see the 9 and the 13 act as a resistance. So those are good to play with. So VWAP is probably one of the best indicators to use to indicate a breakdown or a breakout. But yeah, so these are a couple entries. So let's say you missed the VWAP one, right? You could have gotten prematurely. You would have had to have your stop loss above VWAP. You would have never got stopped out anyway. But another good entry would have been, so you see there is a hammer, obviously there on the Dragonfly. Same thing as the other doji that we had on the bottom. But when it bounced up there, it got rejected right at the first arrow that he has there, which is the 9 EMA, and then from there continued down. So you could have taken profits there, and on Amazon, that's a, what is it? How many? It's about $5 move, right? $3? Yeah. This is 17.40. Yeah, about a $5 move. Yeah. So about a $5 move down on Amazon. That's probably going to be, 30-40% profits. And at that rate, with an Amazon signal, you're probably looking at, $80 to $100. So, so yeah, that's a good example of how to use VWAP as well with your other indicators if you missed the initial entry. Does that help you out, Carlton? Just let us know. But anyway, so then if you missed that, right? Okay, cool. All right, great, man. But anyway, yeah. So if you missed that, right, you want to try to get in. So the first right, the first bounce where he has his first arrow. This is an example of when you'd get stopped out. You might not take profit. So let's say you wanted to long that candle. Now Timmy's scanner didn't go off because the opening candle, the low, was all the way down at 1743. Yeah, so right down there. So the scanner will only go off when it makes a new low for the session or a new high. So that's why Tim's alert didn't go off, but when the scanner rather, but when the scanner goes off for those at the session lows and the session highs, those are always a good time to enter. You could have entered on the first one there that we had, but when you see one go hand in hand with the scanner and it looks good to long also, those are probably your best options. So again, that also bounced right with the support level that we had from the previous day. But yeah, hopefully that helps you out. Yeah, I think that's mostly it for right now. Anybody have any other questions for us? We're gonna do a few of these during the week, but I know we had a lot of new members this past week or two, so we definitely wanted to show you guys kind of how the chat works and everything, how to look at the charts. Again, this is TradingView 2. It's in the Bible, the Trading Bible, about how to go over it and look at the charts to kind of go hand in hand with what we're doing when it comes to signals and the scanner. Yeah, if nobody has anything else, that's pretty much it. Anything else from you, bud? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, let's look at why don't you pull up? Let's see if futures are up real quick. Anything happening with that? Not really, flat right now. Until later, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But that's it, guys. I'm gonna post some. We're probably just gonna do some charts in a little bit, and we'll post them under the watch list so you guys can find them there under watch list. And those usually have the scanner paired with them too. So sometimes you'll see the scanner post a chart with our alert, and that's because we just copied it too. Some of the alerts, they won't have a chart with them, and that's only because there's not exactly a perfect entry, or we don't want you to think just because it has a chart it's a perfect excuse me, perfect entry. So if you have any questions, you can always just put a little message on the thread, and we'll be happy to show you guys what we were looking at there too. But yeah, all right. We're gonna upload this up to YouTube, so if you guys wanted to check it out again, you can do so for sure. Um, Perfect inverted head and shoulders on that ES. Yep. Look at the weekly. Real quick, look at the weekly candle later too for this. Isn't that insane? I know. It's unbelievable. That was probably the funniest weekly I've seen, and hot thank you QE for, yeah, right. Yeah, I think we have what is Fed on? I think the Fed's on Wednesday actually. But this week is going to be crazy, right? Because we have what's today? I don't even know the date. Today's the 8th. Okay. We have so a week from today is when the tariffs are supposed to go into place, guys. So that means that Trump has to make the decision by next week, literally by next Sunday. Well, probably will be by next. I'm imagining it's probably going to be by the end of this week, probably Thursday, Friday, um, to decide whether to postpone the tariffs or change them a little bit around. Who knows what he's going to do? So we'll have to see what's going on with that. But that's going to be a huge market mover for the week. Some people have priced in that he's going to be postponing them and delaying the tariffs. So we'll see exactly what happens when the announcement comes, or if nothing happens and he states that they're definitely going into effect, you'll probably see a dip. But yeah, you definitely want to. Yeah, that's a perfect area probably to watch. And basically, when you're looking at this, this on SPY, this is just going to be the S&P, right? So SPY will be the same prices that you're seeing now, pretty much divided by 10. So right now we're sitting right around 314.65, 67. If we get some bad news, you always want to look towards the 310s or so, like a 1% drop on tariffs for sure, something like that with China. You probably want to look at 1 to 2% move, negative or positive impact. I'd say probably a positive impact wouldn't drive it up as much just because, of course, we're all at all-time highs right now. So you're always going to see a harder move down for the most part than you will see up on news. But yeah. Sorry, you were saying something before. I just wanted to show you the weekly though and go over that. Well, we passed anyway. The glitch. That's funny. Let's see. I'm probably Jarrett Bonesy. I'm probably gonna buy a straddle on Friday because the market's either mooning or dumbing. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure Trump will most likely probably say something before that, so we'll see what happens. But what else do we have here? Can you take a look at Starbucks before you sign off? Yeah, we'll do that, I guess, real quick. Yeah, so we're in a Starbucks swing right now. I think Gavin signaled that. I think everybody's in. Everybody's in on that, I'm pretty sure. And the Starbucks swing, just to let you guys know, was 12.13. So it's next week. Next week, $87 call. So as you can see right now, price is pretty much settling right under our strike. Pro- yeah, Yeah, we had a strong close also on Friday. Probably looking to um, head right back up to right under the 89 level or something like that. So um, I think that's going to be like a really good swing. Should make some good profits on that. So hopefully you guys got a few of those. They were pretty cheap. They were like 46 bucks. So remember, if a signal's only like that's another thing too. Risk management, right, guys? So if you're entering these Amazon calls, I hope your account's large, number one, if you're entering a $500, $600 call. But not only do you have to only enter, let's say, one of those if your account's, fairly large. Let's say you have like a 5K account. If you're going to enter an Amazon call for 500, that's fine. It probably has a stop loss around, 400 or so, 350 something. So you only lose 100, 150. But if you're going to be taking, let's say you take a loss on that trade, right? If you're going to enter this Starbucks trade, you don't just buy one contract, right? You want to position size roughly around the same area. So if you're going to be doing the Starbucks call, you probably want it to scale up to around, 6, 7, 8 contracts or so, just so that your position size, if you take an L on one trade and you take a win on another, you want them to even out or at least be up more, right? You want to be in higher profits if you do win the second trade, or if you won the first trade and lost the second, you still want to be in the green overall. So make sure you guys are position sizing right. Obviously, if the call or the signal says risky, it's up to you guys to enter or not, but go small, go much later than you normally would on that. Also, look, this is an example of just how we set an alert, right? So Dario literally just picks a level and then right clicks, add alert, post a link to the chart, and then we type in exactly what we expect, and then the webhook will automatically post it to the scanner. So this is exactly how we do them for you guys pretty much every day for multiple stocks. Let's see. Chat. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wow, look at that. Actually, look at that last candle. Oh my god. Holy shit. Yeah. Well, Friday was a pretty interesting day. It moved up a lot too, so. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. A little sell-off at the end, obviously, because it pumps pretty much the whole day, and it was a Friday, so people always will take profits usually on Friday. But Monday will give us a perfect example of where price is most likely going to be going from Monday on to probably Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, probably targeting around 88, 89. So yeah. All right. Overly, yeah. There was a lot of flow on it too. Yeah, that was coming in, Tim. So, but yeah, all right, guys, we're gonna upload this. We're gonna start. I'm gonna go. I gotta do some stuff, and then we're gonna be posting the charts to the watch list. Me and a couple of the guys tonight, so you can see those too, just to take a look at and be able to gauge, what we're thinking for the week. Write down anything you like too, or set your own alerts as well. Sometimes we don't catch them all, so if you guys set some up and then you post something in the chat and we see it, we could always give you our input on those and hopefully be able to use that to make some profits also. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, just send us a message in the chat or post it in questions, and we'll catch you guys later. Good, Dario? Comments, complaints? That's it? All right, guys. We'll catch you later. Everyone, have a good rest of the night and be ready for tomorrow. I have complaint. Get out of here, Bonesy. We're gonna kick you out of the group. Yeah, it's Bonesy. All right. See you guys.